A new documentary from Susan Morgan Cooper tells the story behind Russia's ban on adoption by Americans. To the Moon and Back examines why Russia won't allow Americans to adopt its orphans and introduces us to some of the families and children affected. Here's a clip from the trailer of To the Moon and Back.
The international adoption process is pretty long, and of course when you adopt you have to decide what country, and I just decided on Russia. I was on the bus on the way home from work and I got the call, and she said, "We have a little boy." We started screaming and I raced in the car and drove back to the house.
With us now from Hollywood is Susan Morgan Cooper, the producer and director of To the Moon and Back. Susan, great to have you with us again.
Thank you very much, Paul. Great to be here.
What's the story behind To the Moon and Back?
To the Moon and Back is roughly about the Russian adoption ban, in which hundreds of American adoptive parents went over to Russia, bonded with these lovely Russian orphans, promised them to come back, and then because of the ban, are prevented from honoring that promise. So as a result, the parents are without their children, and the children are languishing in these orphanages.
So in other words, victims in two countries.
Absolutely. It's basically a political game between President Obama and President Putin, and because of their politics, these Russian orphans are suffering. And there are actually 740,000 Russian orphans living in Russia. And to date, American families have been the biggest adopters of these orphans.
You mentioned that there's political gamesmanship between Presidents Obama and Putin. But in watching the trailer, we're seeing stories of real people. So it's not just really a political thing. These are real people whose real everyday lives are affected by this.
Oh, the personal stories in my film are truly heartbreaking. I defy anyone to watch it and not be hugely touched. What impressed me the most was that these parents are very selfless. They are adopting these children, many with disabilities, not out of ego, but just out of the unselfish need to make a difference in a little child's life. It's truly inspiring. And the hardship they've gone through because of the adoption ban, I mean, it just would reduce you to tears, One mom, she was in the process of adopting a little girl with Down syndrome whose future would be bleak in Russia. And when the adoption ban stopped her adoption, she's even gone to Moscow to see if she can advocate to get this child adopted by a Russian family. But the chances are very slim because there's a stigma in Russia still to this day about disabled kids.
You have said more than once that these people are doing God's work.
Oh, absolutely. What I have found is that I would say 95% of these parents wishing to adopt are religious people and spiritual people. They believe in God and they believe in doing God's work. And they are so inspiring because, the adoptive mother I mentioned who wanted to take the young Down syndrome girl from Russia, she, a few weeks ago, was volunteering for the Paralympics here in Los Angeles. They just are very kind, selfless people.
What do you want people who see To the Moon and Back to take away from having seen it?
I want people to get saddened and angry and outraged and to try and help us make a difference. If they can click on the YouTube trailer To the Moon and Back trailer, you have to put the word trailer in there, To the Moon and Back trailer, the more views we get, the more people will take us seriously. I want them to help us advocate to bring these children, especially the disabled children, home to loving families in the United States.
To find out more about the movie To the Moon and Back, there are a couple of places you can check out online. One is the Facebook page To the Moon and Back. The other is on YouTube. Type in the search box To the Moon and Back trailer. Be sure to put the word trailer in there, To the Moon and Back trailer. Susan Morgan Cooper is the producer and director of To the Moon and Back. Susan, always great to talk to you.
Thank you very much, Paul. Always great to talk to you.
Paul Ladd reporting.